like to introduce Detective Constable Tara Conley and Detective Constable Glenn Hurst. Detective Constable Tara Conley has 18 years of policing experience. In 2000, Tara started her career with Peel Regional Police. She transferred to Durham Regional Police in 2003 as she has had a strong desire to police in the community she calls home. Throughout her career, she has worked in various areas, including uniform patrol, case management, and intelligence. In 2016, Tara returned to uniform patrol, during which time she became involved in several human trafficking investigations. Her contact and involvement with these victims was both eye-opening and heartbreaking. It was this experience that helped solidify her desire to pursue a position within the human trafficking unit, a position she has held since 2018. Detective Constable Glenn Hurst joined the Durham Regional Police in 2002 and has over 16 years in policing experience. Glenn started as a frontline officer in the city of Oshawa. Throughout his career, he has worked in various specialty units. In 2010, Glenn became a member of the intelligence branch, working in the Gun and Gang Enforcement Unit. As a member of the Gun and Gang Enforcement Unit, Glenn gained experience handling informants, conducting surveillance, and participated in numerous wiretap investigations of high-level drug dealers and gang members throughout the GTA. In 2017, Glenn was trained at the Canadian Police College as a crisis negotiator and continues to be a negotiator for Durham Regional Police. In 2018, Glenn was awarded a position in the Human Trafficking Unit, where he currently works now. Detectives, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tara Conley. I work with the Human Trafficking Unit. This is one of my partners, Glenn Hurst. Before we begin, I'd like to thank the organizers for having us here today. And of course, our panel, these speakers, are amazing. I can probably, everyone in this room would agree that their presentations were amazing, very eye-opening and inspirational. Katarina and Carly are both they represent hope for these girls and women that hope to one day exit the sex trade. So thank you, everybody here. So tonight we just want to talk to everybody a little bit, explain a little bit about our unit, what we do, some proactive initiatives that we're involved in today. As previously stated, we do have a 6-member team. We have 1 detective and we have 5 detective constables. We work out of our investigative services branch located in 17 Division in Oshawa. Let me just start with talking about a few of some stats from 2018, which you'll see are quite alarming. Last year, the Human Trafficking Unit conducted 108 criminal investigations. 57 of these investigations commenced after we received information from the public, information from people in our community, people who are concerned. And that's amazing, and we rely heavily upon that. 51 of those investigations were proactive, and I'll explain a little bit about the proactive initiatives that we do that kind of initiate these types of investigations. Last year, the unit assisted 131 victims, 42 of which were under the age of 18, which I'm sure everybody here would agree is quite alarming. 41 individuals were arrested and charged with a combined number of 182 criminal charges. This year, we're 2 months in, and we're on par for those stats, unfortunately. We have commenced 16 new investigations. We have 22 victims, 8 of which so far are under the age of 18. 5 individuals have been arrested and charged with a combined total of 28 charges, and we have 16 suspects currently under investigation right now. So we're just going to start off with talking a little bit about the proactive initiatives that our unit is doing right now. Targeting Johns, identifying victims and offering support. Education, which is a key piece. Having you member the community here is a key piece and represents the fact that people are interested, that people are talking about this issue, and it is an issue. So this being a conversation here tonight, I hope that everybody here, if just everybody goes home and tells one person, a friend, a family, and then that person has one friend or family member, then this conversation is just going to keep on going, and that's very important. I'm going to just start off, as John brought up, we did an undercover operation last year. It was called Project Chestermere. And during that operation, it was an undercover operation targeting Johns. The project was designed to target sexual predators who were looking for sexual services from underage escorts, some of which they were under the assumption were under the 16 years of age. During the 2-week project, 11 adult males were arrested and charged with a variety of offenses. 9 of the accused have already pled or are planning on taking a plea. Due to the success of this project, obviously this unit is going to be looking at implementing similar ones in the future. It was very successful. We had an undercover, we posted an ad on one of our the escort sites. We had an undercover operator communicate with several interested Johns throughout this project. We posted that ad, and within the first hour, we had hundreds and hundreds of people viewing this ad. And on average, we have about 100 ads in Durham region posted a day, and that's give or take, depending on the day of the week, it being the weekend. So these Johns communicated with our undercover operator, and arrangements were made to exchange sex for money. These individuals were given the opportunity, they were made aware that the escort was 16 years of age. Some of them declined, and some of them did not, clearly, as these stats indicate. So not only are we targeting Johns, but we're targeting the issue of them seeking and wanting to have sexual encounters with underage girls, which is an obvious problem. So, you want to talk about the proactive stuff? Where is it? Oh. Right here. Oh, next one.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about our proactive, there you go, initiatives that we've been doing. Our unit routinely goes out. We look at ads, and we try to identify people we believe are victims. When you become educated on the ads, there are things in the ads that may indicate they could be a victim of trafficking. We also look for the age. Unfortunately, you see some ads where it's blatantly obvious that it's an underage girl, and we will do what we can to go arrange a date. We use an undercover operator. We'll communicate, we'll arrange a date, and we'll actually go to the hotel. So we do that regularly. There is a nationwide initiative that's done every year called Operation Northern Spotlight. It's about 1 week every year where police services across the country do the same thing, make dates. That's going to continue. We're going to continue to participate in that, but we're also going to be doing it on our own quite often. The unfortunate part of our job is that we have to go through these ads usually on a daily basis. And we are extremely busy. However, as soon as somebody notices something, everything drops and away we go. We are also utilized a lot when a underage a youth goes missing in our region. We're usually contacted, given the information that we could use, and through our investigative techniques, we'll do the best we can to see if they are involved in human trafficking, and if they are, we will take over the investigation right away. I can't stress enough how we come to work in the morning knowing what we need to get done, and none of that's done because something else has come up, which is okay with us because that's what we like to do and that's what we're here for. Yeah.
As Glenn mentioned, obviously, like I said, we're checking these ads daily and setting up dates and proactively looking for these girls. We do a lot of other things. We get tips from Crime Stoppers that we have to follow up on. We get calls just from regular citizens that will call our hotline. We respond and assist with uniform patrol who respond to calls at hotels or anything that may indicate that it's human trafficking related. And we will often get called out and we'll attend and assist with the investigation and take it over. So a lot is going on, and aside from that is the disclosure and, of course, the administrative side of things. It's very, very busy. These cases are very complex. We're doing search warrants. We are doing surveillance. They're very complex and very time-consuming. And again, we're trying to manage all those calls and all those tips and all those new cases that are coming in. And unfortunately, Durham's busy, and it's happening in your community and in your own backyard. These are not happening just at the hotels. They're happening in people's homes. They're happening in their cars. They're happening, at schools and all sorts of places. So be aware of that. It's definitely a big issue. Just going to go back. I have victim services. I want to talk about this briefly because Carly spoke, and they had a slide up there that showed 6 team members. Well, we have Carly, and she's our 7th, and she is a very, very big part of our team. Carly's employed with the Durham Police with the Victim Services Unit, and she works very, very closely with us. We rely upon her daily, and she is one of our most valuable resources. We tell her that often. I hope she realizes that. So Carly will often, when we set up these dates or we attend hotels, Carly will come with us because we want to have her with us so when we have this initial contact with some of these girls that she is there to speak to them about her experience. We don't have that lived experience. We can't say that we really understand what they're going through, but Carly can, and it's invaluable the help that she does for us and for the girls. So we rely upon her daily. She's out with us all the time. Carly attends, again, the hotels, or she will be introduced to girls at various stages of investigations. She assists with support, resources, housing, providing basic needs, and getting them just on their feet. And what she talked about, those wraparound services, what they need. And she is passionate. And if she doesn't get an answer that she doesn't like, she's on it, and she takes care of it. She's a huge resource for these girls. So we're lucky to have her.
Sure. A little bit about the education. Part of our job is obviously to come here and do things like this and put out awareness in what we do. There may be, like Carly talked about, there may be some misconception of what human trafficking is, and it's not enforced like it is on TV. I wish I could be the guy from Taken, but I'm 100% not. So it takes a lot, but we're trying to get to as many community events like this, and we're going to be doing a lot more for sure. It's just difficult with 6 of us and being pulled every which way, and we want to make sure we're helping the victims as much as we can. So we're trying to educate other officers, other members of the community who could also participate and attend and educate the schools and stuff like that. Ourselves, we go to a lot of courses for updates, and we are always speaking with our victim services on new trends and things like that. Education about this is very, very important because it's not one particular thing. Whatever you think a pimp is or looks like, get that out of your mind because you might miss the actual pimp walking by you. It's as simple as that, really. What you think a victim is, get that out of your mind because you're probably going to miss an actual victim. Don't get me wrong, what you think a victim may be, you may see that, but believe me, you will miss a victim 100%. There are signs out there, so I encourage you to contact us, other community partners, go online and look for the signs. You may see a long list of signs. You don't need them all. You might just need 1 or 2. But those are the things that we do as well because those stages that Carly spoke about, you can imagine by the time and they get to that and then the trauma, and then we come in, we have to try to reverse that, which is simply impossible to do, especially on your own. The identification of victims, you want to go through that? We're in it? Okay.
So again, we just want to kind of explain who we are and what we're doing and just touch on a few of the stats just so you guys have an idea of what's going on and the work that's being done out there. And again, we rely heavily on our community partners and hearing from you. And again, we didn't touch on the recruiting, just something to keep in mind that it's happening in schools. I know John had mentioned the one girl that with these pimps will often utilize their girls to insulate themselves and go out and recruit for them. So they're kind of, they're kind of out of the picture, and they're very protective for them. So it's happening in schools, it's happening in bars and restaurants, libraries, public transit, social media. I mean, look at all these options that these guys have to pursue and recruit these girls. So it's always nice to have an eye. I mean, you do have options. We have Crime Stoppers. We have a hotline tip. We also have a website, stopht.com. We have a little video on there that's, it's a little educational piece for people to look at and get some information out of that. So I encourage you to take a look at that. And again, thank you for having us here, and I think that's it. Yeah.
Thank you. We will now open up the conversation to the audience as well as the folks online. Before we do that, I just want to acknowledge some of our councillors that are present here. And if you ever need any more evidence that the town of Ajax is quite invested in community safety, look no further than the presence of councillors at events like these. Present, we have Councillor Ron, Councillor Crawford, and Rob Warren-Tyler. We want to now open up to questions that Vanessa has, as well as if you have any questions, please raise your hand. You're more than welcome to just line up here by the mic, or if you want us to come bring the mic to you, we can also do that as well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. So I'll wait to see if there's any questions from the audience, but just to finish off the police presentation, thank you very much for the information, and it's great to see what the DRPS is doing to combat this issue. You talked a little bit about the hotels and such, but we know the hotels along the 401 corridor have been identified as a key area where human trafficking occurs within the Durham region. Are there any other specific businesses or industries within the community where human trafficking may also be occurring outside of those hotels? You touched a little bit on it, but.
I touched on that a little bit. Like I said, it's everywhere. I mean, you got to think about, again, I talked about schools, and we have cases where there are girls being recruited by other girls in the schools. They're being befriended, they're being, taken to parties, they're taken to hotel parties. So that's an area where there's obviously a lot of girls that they can victimize. I mean, there's all kinds of different girls, high school insecurities. It's a big target area. And then, of course, we've had victims who've been just working at restaurants and bars, and they're just, these pimps are very, very good at what they do. They befriend these girls, and they're very quickly, lured into all the things that they offer. So at their workplace it's happening, at school, again, public transit, online, social media. I mean, obviously social media, there's all kinds of issues with that. Again, I spoke about, it could be libraries. I mean, Glenn, if there's anything else you can think of. It's going on everywhere.
Everywhere kind of covers it for sure. There's, homes, like if you think it's not happening in your neighborhood, it very well could be. Even, what are the, not the bed and breakfast, what are they called now?
Oh, Airbnb.
Airbnbs and stuff like that. That happens quite a bit. Just don't, the best advice we could give is just don't focus on one specific thing when it comes to human trafficking, because like I said, you are going to miss whatever you're actually looking for. If you see the signs or know some of the signs, you'll pick it out. It's out there and you'll be able to see it. So just educate yourself as much as you can. Don't think because it's my neighborhood or my town it's not happening. I promise you it is happening here. Without details, it's 100% a fact. If you live in this neighborhood, it's happening.